Yeah. So this is episode 84, and there's several things that I learned today, and so I just want to share with you here. Um, Number one, it's I have been you know I have been working with my kid to kind of prepare him for his task. So he's going for this task where they're gonna give him a set of questions, and they're gonna determine if he is quote unquote gifted. And in the process of doing so, I was really pressed to be able to explain something that it's actually very complex, but to explain it in a very simple way. And just today itself, I saw a YouTube video from my friend, good old Mo, and let me just pull out the video in a second. But essentially, what Mo was saying was that when you are explaining something to your audience, because you have had the advantage of understanding and going through the whole process itself. And so, if you were to explain it in a way that you understand it to be, your audience are going to be lost. So he gave an example that when you when you want to explain something, you want to think of it as perhaps really explaining it in such a way that it's simple. However, how simple is simple, right? So one of the ways that I kind of resonated with him was the idea of when I explain something, I want to use an analogy or a metaphor to kind of explain that. So, as an example, the other day when I was doing the training on TikTok, the I asked the participants how would they describe TikTok in their own words. And so the comments come out like funny videos, stupid videos, dancing videos, fun, snazzy, the usual responses that you would expect, right? And so when I work with, so when they ask me in turn, like, how would I describe TikTok? My response to them was this. I say that, well, TikTok is, to me, TikTok, just like any other social media platforms, they are like shopping malls, right? And so when you think about the malls, you have the malls that were built like a couple of years back, and you have malls that are built like 10 years ago. And so when you look at those two type of malls, you will see that the ones that were built like the decade ago, they're just like level after levels and shops that are straight. You just walk down the aisles and you will see shops on both sides. I mean, there's something that is very familiar. And so even if they built a new mall and you go into the new mall itself, you kind of know like, okay, the the food court, for example, is going to be at the basement, and the anchor tenant would usually be on the first floor, and then as you go up further, you would have the tenant that are perhaps not so prominent, and that's how it goes. And so you may, assuming if you have a shop in the shopping mall itself, you may be tucked on the seventh floor in a corner where if someone were to stand in the middle of the shopping mall and look up, that person won't be able to see. And so if you are that shop on the seventh floor and tucked out of sight, there are various ways that you can get people to come to your store. So number one is you can do some kind of a promotion. You can have people standing out at the roadside and giving out pamphlets saying that if you come to the store and present this pamphlet itself, you will get a 10% discount, for example. Right? That could be something. The other thing, of course, is that you could promote yourself by having some kind of a road show. And so you can display your wares at the ground floor where there is a road show. So in that sense, you are actually advertising yourself, because now instead of waiting for people to get there, now you're bringing the store to the people, but only for a temporary period itself. And so if you think about social media platforms, they are actually like shopping malls, right? Now, and you are the tenants. So the whole idea behind that is that being the tenant, what's going to be happening is that you are at the mercy of the landlord, because the landlord that owns the mall will dictate what kind of terms and condition that you need to abide by. For example, if you are a mall, you have to open from this time to this time, and you have to open 7 days a week. Only on specified public holidays that you are able to close your doors. Otherwise, you are always open. And in addition to that, if you want to do something that it's outside of your store, you will need to seek the permission of the mall owner. And also the other thing is that unless if you are the anchor tenant, whereby people come in or people come to the mall because of you, right? It's a very different perspective from people come to the mall and then suddenly discovering you. Now, so when you think about the analogy itself, people can come to the mall and they could see you and they could be not impressed, or they could see you and they could be so impressed with you that they will want to tell their friends, they will want to come back again and again, and they might want to share on social media that They know this little gem that is hidden somewhere, but people just need to go look for this gem. And so, if you think about that, the parallels between a shopping mall, being a tenant in a shopping mall, and being a player on social media platform itself, the whole idea is very similar because on the social media you do not dictate the terms. You play by the rules and you have to abide by the rules, otherwise you will be ejected from the platform itself. Number one. Number two, unless you are a celebrity of some sorts, otherwise most of the time people would, by the way, discover you on that platform, but people do not go to that platform to watch you, right? So unless, like, for example, as a YouTuber, you may be a huge YouTuber and that's why people goes to YouTube to watch your videos, and your videos do not appear anywhere else, and so people go to YouTube to watch you, and by the way they will discover other people. And and so and and so if you are not very prominent, you are probably that store on the seventh floor, and you will be either waiting for people to discover you, which is going to be tough, or you can essentially promote yourself and put yourself out there and put yourself on the first page of the feed, or put yourself in front of the feed itself, right? So that's like a promotion, just like you giving out pamphlets and you running a roadshow, for example. So how does that tie to what we want to talk about today? I think there is a mindset that people think that you have to be posting every day. You have to post like 5 times a day. You have to hustle, 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 and hustle. And until and unless you hustle enough, you are never going to be able to achieve, or if you can achieve that virality without hustling, it's probably a, what I may call that, it's just a coincidence, or just plain lucky, for example, right? And so, but if you do not hustle, right? If you do not hustle and you do not put up the work and you do not work, then obviously what's going to happen is that you might not even be seen at all. And so, where does this leave us? Do you hustle or do you not hustle, or do you go by the mindset that I have to hustle, I have to grind, I have to work 24/7, or can I just work enough and take a break? And I think the answer to that question, it's really highly dependent. I would not say that there is a right or wrong answer. So clearly, when it talks about when you're hustling all the time, then obviously you are going to be giving something up, because all of us only have about 24 hours in a day. And so if you are hustling like 18 hours a day and you are out there doing all this stuff, then obviously you will not be able to invest time with your family. And so at the end of the day, I think it really depends on each and every individual. What are their priorities? What are their main objectives? And how do they think? The way I think about it is actually very simple. I look at my entire day, and of course, I have 24 hours just like you. But within the 24 hours itself, I need to and I want to allocate my time in such a way that it gives me the maximum utility, in the words of an economist, right? I want it to give me the highest level of utility. And to me, right now, the highest level of utility it's to be with my kids, to be able to help them, to be able to support them, being with my wife, to be able to, if anything, give her the support. At the same time, it's to do the work that pays the bills. And then on top of that, to be able to build something on the side, a side business. It's something that I've always wanted to build. So build that on the side itself. Now, of course, that thing on the side is going to take some time. It's going to take effort. It's going to take persistence. It's going to take hustle, but not to the extent that you hustle the whole time. So I guess for me, in my position, I am unique, and I am blessed to be in that position whereby I could choose and pick and choose what and how I want to allocate my time accordingly. And if experience is anything to go by, I would say for the first 7 years of both of my kids' life, I have made a conscious effort to be there with them as they were growing up. So if anybody is a significant adult for them, it is my wife and I. I do not want a significant adult to be the domestic helper or the child care caretaker or somebody else, right? Not even the grandparents. I just want us to be the the significant adult that they spend a huge amount of time with. In fact, the best thing that ever happened to us was the fact that we get to invest 1 year of our life to to travel almost the world with them for a year. And so within that period itself, they were always with us and they were always on our side, save for I think two occasions where we dropped them off at a drop-off program. Other than that, they were always within our sight itself. We never lost sight of them. And and I believe that that is something that it's going to be, looking back, it's going to be something that I would truly appreciate. I would truly be glad that I did that, because at least I am at that time I am actually being with my kids as they're growing up. So that was the intent. Now, is that going to be regrets? I would say no, because at the end of the day, for me, the truth is that I want to have my cake and eat it, because, and that's the reason why I am building this one person, 1 million, all things digital business, because I believe that it doesn't have to be time or money, it can be both. And the best situation is to have an income generating business, making an impact on the world, being able to invest my time the way that I see fit, and at the same time to have the income that doesn't cause me to compromise my lifestyle or my ability to live. And so that's my point of view in terms of the hustle. What is yours? I would love to find out about what's your definition and how you would be looking at the idea of hustling. Would it be, I don't know, would it be something that you are going to do more of, or is that something that you are not going to do more of? So if you see the what's at my back here, actually, the mobile stand, it's slowly coming up. As you can see from here, I've added another arm, and that's gonna help me fit the camera onto that arm itself so that I could sit in front of the screen and live stream. And of course, the mic there, it's something that I would be then able to have the boom mic here and to be close as possible to my mouth without it being in the frame itself. So that's the plan. It's still in the works of being created. I think it will only be. Probably gonna complete building that only in mid September. So if you're interested, please stick around, and I'll be more than glad to share with you the status of that. Okay, I'm feeling a little exhausted here today, but nonetheless, a promise is a promise. I am here with you on the live show. Let me know if you have a topic that you'd like me to cover. I am getting really, really interested and getting deep into this book itself. It's good stuff, and I'll be sharing more of that with you next week. Until then, I'll see you on the next one. Bye bye.